Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of Down and Dirty with Dr. T. That's brought to you by India's homegrown research platform Poocho, where brands can run live interviews with their users for feedback and insights. And today I have with me Sarath Nair. He's the UX experience lead at Divami Design Labs. He's a UX storyteller with over 6 years of experience. He's crafting user-centric solutions for B2B, SaaS, analytical, and operations tools. He's passionate about creating simple, accessible, and visually compelling interfaces that dramatically improve user experience and drive business growth. And in a very, very loving note, he's married to his best friend, and they travel together quite a lot with their little with their little pup called Frenchie. I was going to say French bulldog. No, little pup called Frenchie. Good to have you on the show, Sarath. And what breed is your dog?
It's a French bulldog. That's his
It
name
is
is
a
Poocho.
French bulldog. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That is what came to my mind when I read
Yeah.
Frenchie. So, okay, that's cool. I'm really happy and excited to talk to you about, your life as a designer and a design lead, and also obviously get into a little bit of your personal space and
Yes.
understand what you're using. So maybe a way to jumpstart this whole thing is just for you to walk us, the viewers, through a day in your life. So what does a day in your
Sure.
life look like?
Definitely, Topsy. But first of all, thank you for calling me and inviting me to the episode. I was very excited to come and have a chat with you. I've seen the episodes and it's very interesting and great topics. And the chit chat, specifically, I love how you want to understand the super users who on the day-to-day life use these applications which they are. So, like you asked, day-to-day life or
Yeah.
day for me starts with I work out morning. I get up around 6 a.m. I do cycling. I love cycling. So in Hyderabad, we have cycling groups. So we go for a quick 1 hour cycling and then come back. And we start our office by 9. That's the clocking time. But in the army, it is pretty free. You come leniently, you work, and then 9 to 5 is our work time. So as a lead, I work with multiple designers. We have multiple projects working on. So my day starts with a quick scrum where we identify if there are any dependencies for the my subordinates, and I would clear them and then assign works for them. And then most of the time I have to review them, help them with any blockers, and then I have client meetings to strategize their product or have meetings with them to clear their concerns. So work-wise, that's how it goes, Tapsi.
Okay. And when does your day end?
So before marriage, it used to go to 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock.
Okay.
Post marriage, yeah, I try to come by the time my wife comes back from office. So by 7:30, I close my work.
Okay. That makes sense. Priorities have to change.
Yes. Yes.
And so what happens after 7? You're hanging out together. When does day wrap up? Like around what time do you actually hit the sack?
It gets little late. We are trying to cut down to bring it down to 10:30. But since both of us work till 7:30, very less time we get to spend together. So that time we watch something or we speak or we talk. And we have a Frenchie, so we'll spend some time with him as well. So it goes around 11, 12 regularly. But yeah, we want to bring it down. But yeah, we're working towards
11, 12, and then you wake up at 6 to go cycling.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. All right. That is impressive. And okay, so now let's get a little deeper into your responsibilities at work. What you mentioned, a lot of the work involves, making sure that your team has what it needs in order to deliver its tasks. It seems like a lot of this is, are you more in management mode then as compared to doing or creating mode? Like, how is that split? Because you're managing a team.
Yeah. So I would break it down into 60% of management work and 40% of individual contribution as well. But just to give a context how projects go around in the army. So whenever a new requirement comes, we start our work with research. So that's where a lot of interaction happens with the stakeholder to understand their vision, and then to identify the users and their pain points. So I help the subordinates working with me to understand the stakeholders' vision, help them with the questionnaires they're preparing for interviewing the stakeholders and users. And the design process is a 7 to 8 step process where all these steps are involved. So at each level, I review their work. I help them with any blockers. I give them the direction. So that's how we work, Topsy. Yeah.
Got it. And what would you say, Sarath, are the biggest enablers when it comes to you doing your work? Like, what helps you be a better leader?
So coming from individual contributor, and when I see my leads, I feel the more patient you are, the more better you can solve their problems. So I feel that's the one motto I take, and I try to do that as well. But when it comes to solving problems, I think I have to empathize with them from where they are coming from, because they are also learning. It's my responsibility to give them the direction or make them understand what they are doing and help them out with that. So how many other time they come back and ask me the question, I'll be patient and I'll give them the direction. If they are not able to crack it, then I'll probably give them a hint or probably give them the solution and ask them to try this next time, so that they also learn in the process.
Understood. And what would you say on the flip side are some challenges in your work, and not the work in general, which is servicing clients and coming up with design solutions, but challenges in you doing your job better?
So challenges at times, I find I have to spare some time to review their work. So if I am not able to give that, things could get delayed. So they are dependent on me to move forward. So I feel if I don't manage my day properly, then that could be a blocker for them and things could get delayed. That's one of the challenges. And if somehow I am not able to give them the right direction, then that also increases the effort or the time spent on the project. So that I feel the time management and giving direction is what I go through day to day in my work.
And so how are you currently managing these challenges? Because if these are lived challenges that you're facing, so what are you doing?
Right. So after reaching office, first thing I do is plan my day. I'll see what the meetings are already lined up, what could come as an ad hoc. So in the first half of the morning, I'll try to close all the important works where my dependency is there. And then I'll plan the rest of the day. And something comes in ad hoc, I try to resolve it or assign a time for them so that they know when it is going to happen and they're not waiting on me. So my calendars is where I work most of the time. So that's how it helps me keep on track.
Got it. Okay, so then let's jump into the tools and the ecosystem of support that you may have using technology. So at any point of time, if you had to tell me, or I had to look over your shoulder and see what apps are open and available on your desktop. I'm assuming you work more on your desktop, or are you more on your phone?
More on my desktop, yeah.
Laptop, more on your desktop, yes. Right. So what would be some of these quintessential apps that you need to have on when you log in the morning to start your day?
So day-wise, if you ask Topsy, I mean it's mail and calendar, which will be always open so that I can quickly jump into meetings and address any concerns which the team would have. So these are like when you are managing work, but in design process itself, I use ChatGPT to optimize my design process. So that is what I've been using and again learning from last year to how can I optimize my design process and reduce the overall time which needs for a team to come up with the user research and to provide solutions or to summarize the research findings. So ChatGPT and other AI tools are what I'm currently exploring.
Got it. So would it be fair to say then that your email client, your calendar, and ChatGPT are your top three, tech solutions to get through your day? Okay, all right.
Perfect.
And when it comes to ChatGPT, you mentioned, of course, we'll do a share screen and you can take us through some of the use cases. But
Yes.
in the context of what you just said, right, Sarath, you said, hey, one of the things is I've got to manage my time so that I'm not a blocker, because as a leader,
Right.
they're kind of falling back on you for your final approval, for your insights, your thoughts. So how does ChatGPT enable that? Like, how does it help you work around this issue of time? You also mentioned it helps you be more efficient in terms of coming
Right.
up with ideas. Can you unpack for me the workflow, which means you have a new client you've just onboarded. At what
Right.
point is ChatGPT showing up in that account management workflow, right? Which means from the time the brief was handed saying we need to revamp our website
Right.
till you
Right.
deliver. Can you give me a sense just in conversation
Sure.
where it shows up?
Sure. I'll start with a brief topsy so that and then I can share my screen and showcase the workflows.
Yeah.
So it starts from first meeting itself, as in before even we go to a client meet, we have to understand their domain. So because we are in service industry, there are a lot of different domains we work on.
Yeah.
So before even we sit with the client for a first meeting, we do our homework to understand what is their product or what is their application, and then go with some questions which they don't feel like we are coming with a blank slate. So we also know the terminologies at least. We may not be the domain expert at that point of time, but we should know the terminologies, what product is about, what are the users. So from there itself, we start using ChatGPT to understand the domains. Now the newer version allows you to add the links of the website also, and then you can actually summarize what they do and what are the things which they are looking for, or who are their users and everything. So from that step itself, we start using ChatGPT Tapsi. And along our design process, we have to schedule interviews with the stakeholder. So ChatGPT helps us with generating questions for the stakeholder based on the persona, based on their domain, based on the vision. So it helps us account for all those questions which we would have missed if we are just doing it manually. So it opens the horizon for us to include what is latest there or what we could have missed. So I don't totally depend on ChatGPT to do a questionnaire or a research, because it may not be accurate all the time. That's what I've observed from my 1 year of experience using ChatGPT. But it enables us to speed up our process and to include things which would have missed initially when we are just interacting with the client.
Got it. So it helps you with the questionnaire. Then you go in and you talk to them. You have some kind of alignment of vision, objective, all of this.
Right.
And then you come back to your team, and now you guys have to ideate on the process for actually implementing, or getting to the objective. Does ChatGPT show up anywhere in that workflow?
Yes. So now, since we interviewed the stakeholders, we have an analysis about their vision, their goals, and what they are looking for next 5 years, or something like that. And they will also tell us about the users they are looking for. End users are very important when it comes to a product. So from the user, it is very important that we crack down on the personas, because even though they would have mentioned 4 or 5 users, but there'll be millions of users who will be using that product. So it is very important that we crack down the persona, so that it could cater to a wide group of users. So ChatGPT helps us to come up to create personas. As you know, personas are fictional documents which helps us empathize with the users and the user groups. So we understand their pain points, their objectives, and the goals. So I use ChatGPT to create those personas. If you compare the traditional way of creating personas, we have to sit and then create a story around that user, right? So we have to understand their personal life, their day-to-day pain points, and how they interact with the application. But with ChatGPT, when you give the right context about the project, domain, and which user we are focusing on, we get the personalized story and their life all created by ChatGPT. So again, I have to say this because you cannot take just ChatGPT response and use it as your research document. That is never going to work, because unless and until you put in your effort and you really understand their intent and what the users are going through, then only I think you'll be able to provide the best solution. What ChatGPT enables is that the time which I take to create that story, that personalized touch, ChatGPT gives me a lot of options in that. I can just simply mix and match and create that document in an hour or so, which earlier used to take me 3 hours or 4 hours.
Wow. And so you built out the persona and you use this information, you shared with the team, right? Everyone has an alignment, has some alignment on who the user is for whom they're designing this experience. Design happens, and what happens next? Does ChatGPT show up again at any stage after that, after persona development?
Right. Yes. So we'll take an example of a dashboard. So we identified the user, we created the persona. From the user, we can list down what would be his typical use cases, right? So from that use cases, if you are designing a dashboard, you need a lot of KPIs for a dashboard. So now with that, we have information about the user, what are his pain points and what are his goals. If we feed that information to ChatGPT, and it could give us information what we want to put in the dashboard. I mean, it will give us what are the KPIs which will be important for this user, what are the KPIs which he'll be looking for in the dashboard. So like that, it helps us align or get the information which we need to design the dashboard. We are exploring tools which can help us create wireframes also, but I think we are still a long way from getting there. But for us, information is important, what we need to put in the dashboard. So that also currently ChatGPT is able to help with to some extent.
Great. So you have content which makes sense, UX content, that would make sense. You also have clarity on the kind of interaction that would satisfy what interaction and experience that would satisfy this kind of persona, right? Because that's really what KPIs are, is like, was the job done? Like, how well was it done, right? Depending on what the use case is.
Right.
And okay, so it helps you with prioritizing the features and understanding the design framework, right?
Yes.
For that. And then after that, so let's say you've done it, you took this and you kind of incorporated these things and you've completed your design now. What happens then?
So till at that level, we are currently not using ChatGPT, because we do have to do design reviews and design QA when post design, when it goes to development. But there are tools where you can actually upload the screen, and it can suggest you that whether from the cognitive load perspective or from the colors and themes perspective, from the accessibility standpoint, where your screen stands. There are tools still which are developing and which are still they need some more time to more precise about these conclusions. But design is very subjective, Tapsi, and each screen is very subjective. So it cannot be taken as one solution fits for all. So I feel we haven't reached there where we can actually review design screens and get output out of it. But till we do our research part, I think ChatGPT helps me a lot.
That's great. Okay. I have a much better sense now of where all and how ChatGPT kind of figures into the workflow. Now, obviously, I want to see it, at least some part of it. So let's do a share screen and take our viewers through how you use it.
Yes, let me share my screen. So I'll just walk you through the problem statement. Yeah. So this is a problem statement which I have written, where a young entrepreneur, Raghavan, he's a business owner for a restaurant, and he is directly involved in managing the operations, and he's focused on delivering good food, minimizing customer complaints, and maximizing customer satisfaction. So for him, it is very tough to understand why business at certain location may be lower or higher than others. So what as a designer you can provide a dashboard which could help him analyze like where my sales are going down or what are the reasons the sales are going down. So if this is, let's say, is one of the client who come to us with this problem statement, uh, I have created templates. So in this last year, I've tried and tested a lot of different ways of using ChatGPT to help me with the research work. So one of those template is like, so this is the prompt which I have written. Just saying that I'm working on a UX UI revamp project for a restaurant business. So giving the right context is important, which should align with the problem statement. So I'm telling ChatGPT that to create an owner persona of the restaurant who is involved in management operations and focused on delivering superior food, minimizing customer complaints. So create a persona which could include a brief about their present work, behavior, traits, personal life, family life, and hobbies. So this is a prompt for creating the persona. So let me try that on ChatGPT. So yeah. So it will create a persona just like that. John Thompson, restaurant owner. It will give me the demographic details, gender, his location, his education, marital status, children, and then it will give us a little detail about his professional background. I think it's taking a little time. Yeah. Internet connectivity probably. So what I'm trying to say, so this gives me a head start to start with. So I don't need to think about, or I have observed this with my juniors and people I have worked with, that it is could be a little difficult to come up with this personas and their stories and their life. They struggle a little bit to create a story for them. So in those cases, this gives us a good start. ChatGPT gives us a good start to create a story.
Right. And for this use case, just to clarify, the persona for whom you will design is your client, because it's the client who will be using the dashboard.
Right.
So yeah,
that is for the client.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you see, we got responsibilities, and we got his behavior traits and his personal life. So this becomes a good start for the research team to create the persona document. So yeah.
Okay. And when you have this persona document, you said the next step is, now everyone on the team is kind of aligned on who the user of the dashboard is going to be.
Right.
And then at the next stage, are you also transforming this information into KPIs? Like is ChatGPT really helping you with use cases and KPIs in a targeted way, or is there something you're generating out of this document?
Yeah, we'll be generating out of this document, Tapsi. So use cases, that also I have tried, and it gives you very common use cases which any platform will have. But that is not going to help us if you want to add value to the client's design. Generic you can get, it could reduce your time to identify those generic use cases. But what actually is that problem and pain point, we need to work on those use cases by ourselves.
So can we do that? Like, can you just run through this very briefly and give me a sense, if you had to look at a persona doc like this, how would you extract an example of a use case for the dashboard that you're in this example?
Right. Yeah. So let me first, we'll see what are the goals and aspirations this client has. So he wants to enhance the restaurant's menu with seasonally and local sourced ingredients. So this becomes one of his outputs from the application. Like, he wants a better menu which user can scan through. May not be an important use case for the dashboard because no data is coming from that. He wants to implement a customer loyalty program. So that becomes a use case for us for the dashboard. Like how many customers, what is the scoreboard or leaderboard for people who are ordering from certain area. So we can actually gamify the application from the user's perspective so that he gets a gist of how certain areas are doing or how certain type of users are doing. So that is one use case which you can take out of the goals and aspirations.
Ah. And then you would use that to then come up with the KPI, as in like, what indicator would you use to track, increasing
Right,
loyalty, let's
right.
say?
Yes. So loyalty itself can be a complete workflow in the dashboard itself, because
Yeah.
you can have leaderboards, you can have goodies sending out to them for the top users or the top customers. So nowadays, loyalty programs are being used on almost all B2C applications. So uh, like that, we get a lot of use cases just by giving the right context to ChatGPT.
Oh, this is quite empowering to see this kind of
Yes.
workflow where you're starting with the persona, you're using the persona to extract use cases and KPIs to inform the design, framework that you
Right.
will use, right?
Right.
To solve this client's need. And what else? Is there anything else here that you want to share in terms of how you use this information that ChatGPT has
Yes.
produced?
Yes, absolutely. So we also have to validate our findings with the client or the customers, because just dumping him with features will not be viable for him. He might be looking for something very specific, or his. That's why we have to make sure that we are aligned with the entire process from the stakeholder analysis to user analysis, because ChatGPT is giving response to that context or the context in that prompt. It may not it is not taking insights from the previous documents or the documents we are going to work on. So it is very important that at every stage we validate the responses, or we validate what solution we are proposing with the client. Only when they agree or they see the value in that proposal, we go forward with those solutions.
Understood. And what have you generally seen in your experience of 1 year using this for 1 year, which is you've come up with your use cases based on this
Right,
support of ChatGPT.
right,
You've taken it to the
right.
client, and has the client generally aligned with your use cases and KPIs? Like, what is the success rate of this transformation?
So I would say a lot of them were happy to see metrics which they didn't account for initially. So when we go with ChatGPT and the findings which we have, although we propose it to them, they may not be able to implement it that time. So they park it for future implementation, or when they want to scale the product. But we tell them that, hey, these are all the possible things, and these could add value to your product. So we'll keep it in mind. Let's finish what we are planning to do for this release, and probably keep it in the roadmap. So that is one thing I've observed. And when they see the input or the output which we share with them, that our findings, they see the value in we have come up with more features or additional features which could add value to their product.
Oh, that's great. Is there anything else here, Sarath, before we stop the share screen, that you want to show regarding
Yes.
ChatGPT?
Yeah. So I had created multiple templates, Tapsi, so which helps me with my workflows. So this was one for creating the templates. The other one is, so this is how I create a template. So you give the context, like what is your product description, what are your goals, what are your visions, what are your mission, and then this is the standard template which I can use for any project or any domain. So every time I come across new templates, I just simply keep documenting them so that I can use them later. So like that, I have created a couple of templates which could give me different responses. And I also use different AI tools to see how the responses are coming, because when I compare ChatGPT with Gemini, Gemini has more success rate, or where they are more accurate in terms of understanding their context and everything.
Can you just give me some examples of the difference between the any two templates? Like, just give me the nuance.
Yes, sure. So here, if you see, the template is for creating the. So this is the first one is I have interviewed the user, and I have documented responses from them. So we do a Zoom call with the users, and we document their responses. And this particular template will help us summarize their pain points, goals, and takeaways. So because we'll be interviewing multiple users. So if we go with this template, if we simply put their responses with this prompt, it will summarize all the responses, and it can actually tell you that how many users don't like this feature, or how many users are liking this feature, or how many users are looking for this particular module. So those kind of insights I'm able to generate from these templates.
So you literally copy paste 10 interviews, 10 Zoom recording transcripts, let's say, all at once,
yes.
And then ask it to summarize across the 10. What are the top challenges? What are the top, improvement sort or whatever? Okay, understood.
Right. So that helps us reducing the time by manually going through each one of those transcripts and then generating insight of it. The second one is for generating the persona. So how we generated the persona in a previous example, it will help us give us 5 responses which list his key tasks, his user goals, and for the persona. So like that, I have created a couple of personas.
That's amazing.
Couple of templates.
I mean, I can see how this is a huge time saver, right? And especially at the template level. I mean, templates, that's why they exist, is because you can just plug and play, basically.
Yes.
So that is okay. That's great. Thanks for sharing that. Okay, so let's stop the share screen. I want to kind of come back again to what we talked about in the first part of the interview, which was, you always are striving to do a better job with being present, not being a blocker, managing your team, which is, these are all mandates of anyone who's leading a team, to be honest. So now let's talk about ChatGPT, these persona, the templates to prompt the actual generation of content through what ChatGPT delivers. How is that helping you with time management when it comes to being a better leader? Not generating output, which I understand, but being a better leader.
So I walked my subordinates through these templates, and I've taught them how to use it. What happens is when I share this with them, they also try their version of optimizing the process. So you get to see more different approaches, more different ideas. Probably the other person might get a better solution out of this, or will find a better way of optimizing the UX process. So I always ask them that apply these measures, or apply these points to optimize your UX design process, because whenever they are struggling with creating personas, I think these steps will help them a lot. So I have seen a lot of my subordinates or people I'm working with coming back saying, hey, save time. But I also have to then tell them, don't just simply copy paste it. I'm going to review all of it. So if it doesn't align, means it is going to be a problem for us. So.
Right. Okay, so ChatGPT kind of helps you with a little bit of jump starting or kick starting their design process is where, and okay, and that is one of the things that you want to do as a leader, is say, give them the tools, give them the framework, and say, okay, here's something that I used. Now you can use it like this, or reprompt it, but in the same lines, in the same vein. And see where that helps. Okay, I see that. Sharad, is there anything else around this integration of ChatGPT into your design workflow, and also your responsibility as a UX leader, that you want to share that we've not talked about?
Yeah, so I highlighted, right? So again, I'll highlight the same thing, that we should not simply copy paste the responses, because that is not going to help anyone. I have learned that the hard way when I did that. So that is one thing I want to.
That's the best way to learn.
Yes.
When you burn your own fingers, you're like, oh no, that didn't. They saw through it.
Because I think it was some time problem, and we had to present to the client. Then I didn't go back and review. I just simply copy pasted, and it fired back. So I keep telling everyone that please be aligned with the stakeholders and the users. So
Okay, great. Awesome. So we're left with a rapid fire round. Are you ready for four
Oh,
simple, easy questions?
yes, I am ready.
Okay, all right. Name one item on your bucket list.
Tattoo?
Okay. Wait, what did you say? Sorry, did I hear that correctly?
Getting a tattoo.
Getting a tattoo. Oh, getting a tattoo. Okay, all right. Yes,
Right.
that seems like very doable. You could do it. You could
Yes,
do it
yes.
tomorrow. uh,
Yeah.
okay, which social media platform are you most active on? Personally,
Instagram?
Instagram. What
Instagram.
comes to
Yeah.
mind when I say happiness?
My wife?
Okay. And do you own a vehicle?
Yes.
What do you own? What brand and make?
A Royal Enfield Meteor 350.
Ooh, lovely. Okay. Yeah, I
Yeah.
have a friend who has an Enfield, so it's
Oh,
quite a
that's nice.
thrilling ride, I have to say.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Sharad, this was great. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. I learned a lot today.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Tapsi. It was a very fun conversation, and it was fun to interact with you and sharing my insights with you. It was really nice.
great. Awesome. Thanks so much and have a good weekend.
Thank you, Tapsi. You too. Have a good weekend.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.